Over the course of the last, I would say roughly about 50 days, we have probably looked at, I would say 80, 90, 100, maybe even 100 more cryptos on this channel. Over the last 30 episodes, we have found some that were good. We have found some that were bad. We found them that were scams. We found some that we called out to be scams and save people money. I mean, we have absolutely been crushing it. It's been absolutely amazing. And we have done a fantastic job of shedding the spotlight on some cryptos that we truly believe have some of the most potential of all of the cryptos out on the cryptoverse right now. And so one thing that we are going to do today is we are about to wrap this thing up. We are going into our tournament. This is it, guys. Let's go ahead. We don't even need this up. We don't even need that up anymore. And you know what? I just want to say one thing is that I really, really, really appreciate every single person who's tuned in every single day. There are some of you who I have seen in there every single day for 30 episodes straight. And this is just the beginning. This is just season number 1. This was kind of filling it out, trying to see how all of this would go, you know, if this was going to work, if it wasn't going to work, and really getting the hang of everything. And I'm so excited. So you guys know, had to put on the party shirt. I had to let the fro out because today is the day that we have all been waiting for. So as you can see, if we do go ahead and we pull up our screen right now, we can see that these are going to be our contenders for the day. Okay, we have, and starting with the very top, we have Meta Hero, who is ranked number 1, who absolutely crushed this competition at a 92.5%. We have Peacock Coin, who came in at 91.25. We have Gorilla Diamond at an 87.8, Fusion Chain at 88.5, and Pink Panda Finance at an 87%. And when I tell you that these were easily some of the best cryptos that I have been able to find within the last, that have come out within the last 3 or 4 months, I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal. They have real true potential, and I'm very, very excited to see, as this competition does end, how far they all go. And so with that being said, guys, I mean, it's just a very weird feeling that I have right now, because it's excitement, like who's gonna win, but then there's also that feeling of kind of sadness, like wow, like the first season is over. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So if we do go ahead and we pull up right now, one thing we can see is that this is today's lineup. This is the competition. This is the bracket. So we have Gorilla Diamond going head-to-head with Peacock Coin. We have Fusion Chain going head-to-head with Pink Panda. The winner of those two brackets are going to face each other, and then that winner is going to take on our number 1 spot at Meta Hero. Now, that's one thing we are going to do going forward, is that if you are the number 1 ranked contender going forward, you get to skip the whole competition and you are automatically going into the finals. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to say is that even in future seasons, there is still potential for these cryptos. I keep pointing this way. There's still potential for these cryptos to be on the next season. This does not mean that we will never talk about these again. Don't get it wrong. The top three are going to be the ones who automatically get pushed forward into the, or not these 3, but the 3 that make it the furthest within this competition today are going to be ones that we bring on for next season to be the established veterans of the season. Of course, with Meta Hero being number 1, which is an automatic forward to the next season. So currently speaking, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be just simply ranking these things like this. We're going to talk about all of the things that we rank them on. We've been ranking things on longevity. We've been ranking them on creativity and progress, or presentation, security, and utility. And instead of giving them number rankings today, what we are going to do is we are going to simply say which one has the best. Which one of these out of Gorilla Diamond and first going to be Peacock Coin, which one has the best longevity? Which one has the most creativity? Which one has made the most progress and has the best presentation? Which one do we have the most security in? And lastly, which one has the most utility? The winner of that, whoever gets the most. Now it is 6, and so there's going to be some ties, I'm sure, or things like that, which we'll have to work out. But we are going to figure out which one's the best, which one ever has the most. It gets moved on to the next bracket into continuation. And we are actually going to be getting started in less than 2 minutes. It's absolutely crazy, guys. This is the end of the season. I'm kind of sad, but I'm like, you know, all good things have to come to an end, and this is just the first season. I mean, we've learned so much. I've learned so much from this personally, and just, you know, figuring out ways in which I can look at these different cryptos. And, you know, I have made contradictions. That's not something I'm going to lie and say. You know, and closer to the beginning of the season, some of the things and, you know, in ways in which I did rank some cryptos has differed as I have learned and I have grown. And, you know, as I do go forward with this one, I'm just human, and I'm still learning and, you know, understanding certain things. And as I continue to do that, so will the rankings, and so will all of that changing. But this gives us a good way to really compare the ones in which we do look at to figure out which ones are going to be the best. And I hope you guys are excited. Now, the one thing I am kind of sad about is I don't want any of you to be mad at me, okay? I don't know exactly who wins, but I think I kind of have a rough idea of what's going to happen. And I know like there's a whole bunch of different communities. I have so many friends within all of these communities, all of them, like every single one. Meta Hero, I'm in a little group. Peacock Coin, I've talked to a few of the people in there. Gorilla Diamond, I'm really close to. Obviously, I'm an ambassador. Fusion Chain has a fantastic support group, and Pink Panda Finance is by far my favorite community out of all of the communities right now. And so, like, not being able to make everyone win, of course, does kind of suck. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the name of the game. And I hope you guys are excited as I am. Because if you are, let's go ahead. Let's see what's going on in the chat right now. And then we're going to go ahead and move forward. So we did just get a quick $50 donation from Misha. Shout out to you. I don't see a chat here, of course. But big shout out to you. I really, really appreciate it. That was phenomenal. Thank you. Much appreciated. And let's see who all's in the chat today. We got Xavier Logistics saying, hit that like button. Absolutely hit that like button. Smash that like button. We need to be at 30 likes for sure. Tyler's Telegram is thumb gymnastics. What? End of the world. What's up, guys? End of the world. Take a second. End of the world has been in almost every single stream I have done for the last month. Major shout out to you. Major shout out to you. I really appreciate the support. Shout out to Scooby Dooby. Shout out to Michael Verbal, Noxon, Benster. Shout out to all of you. And I think, guys, that it is time that we go into round number 1. So round number 1, again, as you can see, is going to come down to, here we go, Gorilla Diamond versus Peacock Coin. And so with that being said, guys, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is longevity. Okay. Which one has more longevity? Now, longevity has multiple different aspects to it in terms of how much it has done to establish itself up to this point, as well as going into the future. Which ones do we think has the most potential to stay around? That's kind of my thought process on longevity. And so one thing I want to do is if we do go ahead, and I'm just going to kind of pull up websites, and we're going to talk about this. One thing that I am, I'm comparing with these two is where they go in the future from here. And so if you're kind of unsure about what's going on with Gorilla Diamond, they're basically creating an ecosystem in which they are, they're having multiple aspects of that will provide transactional reflections. And of course, that's going to be some type of incentivization to keep people on board. So they're going to be multiple platform aspects such as Rising Token and Swiftly Swap and the Diamond Wallet and the Diamond Service Market, which should be absolutely huge if they do make that go well. And so with that, that's kind of like the preface. That's what they're trying to do. Now, in comparison, what Peacock Coin is trying to do, it's more simple. What they're going to be focusing on is simply just the NFTs. They have an NFT market, and that's kind of the main idea here. Now, shout out to them. They did get a Certic audit, which is phenomenal. But one thing that I will say is that based off of, just in terms of longevity, I personally believe that we're going to actually exit that out. There we go. I personally do believe that based on what the potential is, potential is a big thing in terms of longevity, like how long can it last? Personally speaking, I do believe that Gorilla Diamond is going to take the very first one in terms of longevity. Now, the reason I say that again is because they have so many aspects. There's so many things that they can do in the future with all of these different service markets, whereas Peacock Coin has somewhat niched themselves down into the NFT space. And I think once NFTs maybe either die off or there's a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of other, how do you explain it? There's a whole bunch of other NFT marketplaces and stuff, like on top of the ones that already are. I think that is going to take Gorilla Diamond a little bit further. And so we'll go with that one. Now, in terms of creativity, now this was actually a pretty interesting one. And this is something that was a little bit hard to gauge, right? Because I think about it in terms of if we go to their websites, there's a few things that I was a huge fan of with Peacock Coin in terms of, in terms of creativity. Okay. Shout out to Panda Josh. So, with this one, creativity is one that I'm quite curious about to see how far they can go. I do love the fact that Peacock Coin has their own branding. I absolutely love that. I love the fact in which they've not taken the safe name or the blank moon name, or they've not taken anything like that. They've simply just taken their own approach. They've taken their own website. They've based all of their information around their own ideas and their own thoughts. And I really do like that one. Okay. The issue that I find with creativity is that creativity also has to be applied to the idea or the thought process of what are they actually doing, okay? And this is where Gorilla Diamond comes into play, because then I also think about it in terms of, okay, well, with Gorilla Diamond, they've done quite the same. They have their own branding, they have their own name, they have their own, way in which they're going about things. They're not really copying anybody in terms of how they're branding it. They have Gorilla Diamond. It's not the safe blank or blank moon or anything like that. So that kind of evens them out with Peacock Coin in my way. I think they're easily just as brandable. One thing I do believe with Gorilla Diamond, though, is that they've taken a fantastic approach in terms of how they're actually going about it. One thing that I've seen with Peacock Coin, in terms of being an NFT marketplace, I haven't seen anything that really sets them apart for the most part from other ones, right? Even it could be small things. Well, one thing I saw with Gorilla Diamond is the approach in which they're taking in terms of just marketing and how they're actually trying to get this thing out. Okay. And so one thing I really do love is the fact that they're taking the terms of being creative by they were one of the first ones that I saw within this new wave of cryptos that actually did establish themselves as a corporation, which I think is a creative way to establish some type of security, as well as help, just with the project itself. But I also love the approach that they're taking in terms of, how they're marketing out. I don't know if you guys know, but Odie Osborne is another one of the ambassadors, and so they've got him a mouthpiece with Gorilla Diamond on it. So when he fights, like, people will see their brand in the UFC, and things like that are super creative, and I do absolutely love that. And so with that, let's see. I think with that, we're probably going to go ahead again. And let me get this pulled up. Not the live chat. There we go. And I think that in terms of creativity, that's another one that we're going to have to give to Gorilla Diamond for sure. So let's go ahead. Let's copy this. And we're going to paste a duplicate. There we go. Pull that down. Gorilla Diamond on number 2. So now let's talk about progress, because this is one that was actually not too hard to see. Okay. So in terms of progress, one thing in which we can see is, so say Gorilla Diamond, for example, they've done a really, really, really good job of establishing their corporation and making the steps in the right direction to get the things done that they want to do. If we do go down to roadmap, we can see that they've done good. They've got their idea put together, initialized protocols such as some listings, expanding the team, open their official merchandise store, and all of the things like that. But one thing that we can see with Gorilla Diamond, for example, is that the projects and the products in which they want to release, they have not necessarily released yet. Right. And so with that, I think that does kind of give the edge to Peacock Coin. Now, the reason I say that is because although there have been some minor issues with the marketplace and things like that, the marketplace is actually out. Right. On top of that, they also have their CertiK audit, and they've taken a lot of the same steps as Gorilla Diamond, but I would like to say just a few extra ones. And so in terms of, who we would give the progress ranking to itself, I think that it makes a lot of sense for this one, just because they've released their marketplace and they're starting to already release their product. I think it makes a lot of sense for that one to go to Peacock Coin. So the next one, let's talk about presentation. Okay. I think that presentation has a lot of different aspects. I think there are multiple things that go into presentation that can make it or break it. Okay. Now, the very first one is going to be simple, how it looks. Okay, and I would say off rip, Peacock Coin definitely has that advantage. Just the way in which they do, have their website, and it's so immersive, and there's so many things. I would say Gorilla Diamond is similar. They have different aspects, especially with the roadmap and how you can click it. And it's just super immersive, and I do love that. But I would say just in terms of overall visual appeal, that I think Peacock Coin has kind of gone to another level. They've kind of taken it a step further in terms of presentation, and I do love that. And so the other aspect of presentation and again, guys, this is all personal. This is all personal and like what I like to see. This is, this is just me. But one thing that I will say as well is that presentation always comes down to the presentation of information, right? It's how well do they present the information. And I would say for both of them, especially now that Gorilla Diamond has started to change up their website, I would say they present the info and what they're trying to do both very clearly, right? With Gorilla Diamond, the first website they released, it was pretty unclear on exactly what they were going to do in terms of how transactional reflections were going to work and all of that good stuff. And I think that going forward, the fact that they have actually changed it up and they're very clear on the different aspects of the ecosystem, that they've evened it out. And so with that being said, I think that it makes a lot of sense for this one, since their presentation of information is quite similar, but I do just like the visual appeal of Peacock Coins a little bit more, that this is another one that we are going to go ahead and give Peacock Coin to. So let's go ahead. Boom, boom, boom. Cool deal. Okay, so now we're 2 and 2. And 1 second, someone's telling me they're having connection issues. There we go. Okay, it wasn't me. Okay, cool. I thought it was me having connection issues. Okay, so now let's talk about security, because this one's interesting. This one's actually very interesting. And when I was thinking about this before the stream, I was like, man, I really don't know. Okay, so let me talk about some good things. Let me talk about some bad things. So with Gorilla Diamond, one thing that I absolutely love, I absolutely love, is the fact that they have established it as a corporation, right? I think that immediately, provides them with some type of like credibility and security, because now they are under regulation. All right. Now they can't just really go scam someone. They can't do that type of things, especially in terms of transactions, because now that they're established as a business entity, they are under a certain set of rules. Okay. So that's immediately like, okay, that helps. Like that's a big, big, big help. Now, in comparison, I would say the biggest thing in Peacock Coin in terms of exactly how they are going to, like, their biggest form of security. I mean, a CertIC audit is fantastic. And not only just a CertIC audit, but they got a fantastic CertIC audit. One minor finding, which was mathematical operations, and one info finding, which was language specific. No big deal. Okay. That's huge. So now let's kind of talk about certain things in terms of, how this is all divided. Well, one thing I do love about Peacock Coin is the fact that in terms of, their contracts, there's really no major whales. There's nothing there that's going to say, okay, this thing is at risk of some type of big rug pull or something like that, just in the sense that there aren't any huge whales that are going to be unproportionately sized in comparison to other ones. Well, that also goes to be the same for Gorilla Diamond, okay? If we do go ahead and if we do just simply pull up their contract here, we can see outside of the ones in which, some of these are going to be locked. So some of this is locked. This is going to be a dead address. That's going to be locked for a few years. And this is the deployer. And so outside of that, they don't have any major whales issue. And so that, or either, sorry. And so that was another thing. I was like, okay, well, they're quite even on that. And so if we do kind of take a look at everything, I would say also the fact that Gorilla Diamond does have their team doxed and they're very transparent and clear. I would say the fact that they have that on top of the fact that they're established as a corporation, but they are lacking remotely some of these bigger audits. Like they do have, if I can go ahead and pull it up, like they do have a tech rate audit, but a tech rate audit is very, very low level audit in my opinion. And so with that being said, I would personally just say with this one that it's a tie. I would say that that's definitely a tie, just because they have done so many good things, but each one of them has their own good aspects, so it's tied. Okay. Well, now it comes down to one last thing, and that is utility. And so in terms of utility, I think that this one is a pretty clear pull for one of the parties. And simply just in terms of, if we think about Peacock Coin, for example, the only thing in which they're really trying to do at the moment, from what I can tell, is an NFT marketplace. And the issue with that, and there's some other smaller utilities, but that's the main one. And the issue that I have with that is that eventually that's gonna fall off, and that eventually that people are going to not be so interested in it, because NFTs are kind of a thing of the now, but going forward there's going to be so many other uses, especially with smart NFTs, that it's how do you explain it, that it's limited. Well, if we think about Gorilla Diamond, for example, they have rising tokens, which is here, I'll just go to the website so you can see it. Let's go here. So they have rising tokens, which is a popularity and price tracking tool for crypto projects. That's always going to be around. And I think people can continuously use that, especially if we continue to see, these big altcoin, hype coin seasons come around. They're also going to have Swiftly Swap, which is its kind of basic utility, but it's a good one as well. The Diamond Wallet, which is going to be a great wallet, as well as a Diamond Service Market, which is a peer-to-peer service exchange category. And so with all of that, with the speculative thought that this is actually going to come to fruition, I do believe that with that being said, we can see that Gorilla Diamond definitely pulls in terms of, let's see, gonna paste a duplicate. There we go. In terms of utility. And so with that being said, guys, that is a 3-2-1 pull on the side of Gorilla Diamond, which makes them our first winner, which is crazy. And now it's wild how this all works, right? The wild part about that is if we go back to our winners, they were number 3 and Peacock Coin was number 2, and there was differences there. But you never know when you individually rank something rather than put it against something, how this can all play out. And so the very first winner of the very first round, again, is going to be Gorilla Diamond. So shout out to the Gorilla Diamond crew. Congratulations. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take this one, and we are going to move it down here. Oh, wait, actually, let's go ahead, and I'm going to undo all this real quick. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay, so let's go here. Boom. Copy, paste duplicate, bam. And they are now into the semifinals. Okay, well, now it comes down to it. It comes down to probably one of the most interesting cryptos that I've seen on this series versus my favorite community. And I just love it. Pink Panda, if you ever look in the chat, they're always in here. They're always in here. Panda Josh, Cyberbullion, they're literally always in here, and I absolutely love them. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So let's start off with longevity. Let's see, in terms of how all this is going to go, let's go ahead, let's pull up their website, and let's think about what we got, okay? So in terms of longevity, I think it does come to importance to think about how exactly they are going to go into the future, what changes they can make, and how they're interacting with multiple aspects of the crypto world, how their utility plays a factor, and what all they have done so far. Well, in terms of longevity, I do really love the fact that Pink Panda Finance has done such a great job of not just establishing themselves as a project, but as a real cause and a real company, right? They've done their donations, which is absolutely fantastic, and that'll continue to go forward. And then they're also going to be coming out with their own non-custodial DEX, which will be cross-margin trading with up to 5x leverage in multiple things as well. But one thing that I must say is that in terms of, potential, let's go ahead, actually, 1 second. I'm going to pull up Fusion Chain's white paper here. And longevity also kind of goes hand in hand with potential. And as we can see, they have a big vision with a lot of different aspects that could take them very, very, very far into the future. Okay. I think the fact that they are taking so many different aspects, such as things like, passive, which is going to be more revolved around staking, or we have Tesla Safe, which is a hyperdeflationary token, or a stablecoin pegged to USD. I think this is a lot of utility. And I think that this is all about if, and since this is a series about speculative cryptos, we're going to remain on the speculative realm and think, if they are to pull this off, which they've done a fantastic job of reaching all of their milestones so far, if they are able to do that, I think in terms of longevity and how long they will be around, I think they have much more incentive to be around. With that, giving Fusion the very first, let's go here 1 second. Oh, no, not that. Woo! All right, there we go. It gives them the very first ranking on longevity. I would say that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So let's talk about the next one. So we have creativity. Now, this is one that I must say is a little bit more clear, because in terms of how creative you are, one thing I do love about Pink Panda Finance is going to be the fact that they've done a fantastic job of, again, just like Peacock Coin, just like Gorilla Diamond, they've done a fantastic job. Let me pull this up here, of establishing their own brand. It's not a safe blank, it's not a blank moon, it's not a Elon this, or it's not a blank rise that, or anything like that. They're doing their own thing. And I absolutely love that. That's all. It immediately gets you creative points with me. Okay. Well, the next thing that I will think is that with, Fusion Coin, I can't necessarily say that as much because they have, you guys know, Tesla Safe. I've never been a fan of it personally, but my personal opinion is that it seems like whenever they first created it, it was just Tesla Safe, kind of like the hype coin of the group. But then they realized that there was potential to build this thing out and really establish it as something outside of all the hype. And that's the reason why we don't see any of the other names with like a blank safe or a blank moon or a blank rise or this Inu or anything like that. And so I do love that. I do love the fact that they've kind of diverged away with it, but being realistic, with Tesla Safe, there is that lacking of creativity with the main crypto itself, the first one, the big one, right? And so those kind of, there's that. Well, let's talk about in terms of creativity, in terms of utility. We didn't see anything necessarily new from either one of these projects in terms of what they're trying to do. But one thing that I will say is that they've done a pretty good job in terms of, building up on the shoulders of the other giants in which we have seen. Okay. And so what I mean by that is Tesla Safe has kind of taken, or Fusion Chain, has taken a lot of the different applicative use cases that we've seen before and made them their own in their own way, as well as establishing them and, coming up with things like Tesla Safe as the raw land and Boba or the banks and Swag as commercial district. All of these things do take creativity. And I do really like that, but with some relative lacking of creativity, just in terms of the things like Tesla Safe, and none of these things are brand new, anything that I would say, as well as the fact that Pink Panda has somewhat similar, which we've seen their use case before. I think that this justifies another tie, personally speaking, in terms of creativity, and how they are approaching it, So also, and another thing, I completely forgot to say that, is one of the most creative things I've ever seen from a project was the way in which Pink Panda shills. the way they show their token, absolutely fantastic. You know, Panda Josh and all those guys, Kyler Rubin, I'm not 100% sure. The way they come into the chat and they say things, and the way they get so creative with the way in which they show their token is absolutely fantastic. And that holds a lot of weight, especially within the, the new momentum coin space. And so with that, I definitely think it, again, justifies a tie here, which means we're going to bring this thing on over here, and we are going to tie them up in terms of creativity. So let's talk about progress. This is definitely an interesting one as well. I think that progress it's always kind of hard to gauge, but personally speaking, I must say that Fusion has made some pretty good progress, and they're moving very, very fast. In terms of, they have their first token release, which is going to be HyperSafe, released in April. And then just a few months later, they release Rice Farm. And just a few months later, they're about to release Passive, which is going to allow you to earn reflections from Tesla Safe, Rice, and BUSD. And it's a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. And so they're combining all of these things, right? Well, Pink Panda, on the other hand, they've done a fantastic job as well in terms of getting their application out. We can see that they have like this little preview of that app. They have a new website out and all. But overall, and they've also... they have done their donations, which is absolutely fantastic. But one thing that I must say, is just in terms of, I do believe in the more technical work and how fast in which they are moving. I think that Tesla Safe, or I would say that, but Fusion itself has made a little bit more progress in terms of how much they have done already, in terms of, meeting these deadlines, meeting these goals, and just absolutely crushing it in terms of their roadmap and how fast they're moving. If we can see here, just getting already these 3 different tokens released, as well as having like their website and things like that. The only thing that almost that would almost make them lose this one in terms of progress is the very, very strong lacking of presentation in terms of a website. The white paper still needs a lot of work in terms of, visuality and things like that. And I think the fact that they've been around for so long and they don't have that almost made them lose this part. But I think that they can fix this very fast. But the fact that they've already released these 3 tokens and things, I definitely think that gives them a little bit of the edge in terms of progress and the overall progress in which they have made. So I think on progress, we are going to go ahead and give that one to Fusion Chain as well. So let's go ahead. Boom. Boom. Cool deal. Okay. Presentation is not even really close, to be fairly honest. I don't like to kind of be that guy or anything, but I don't believe that it's close. I would say that this is a pretty clear win for Pink Panda. And the reason that I say that is because if we just kind of look at it, being that this is the unofficial white paper, but this is the only real white paper in which we have, other than the light paper for Tesla Safe, which doesn't really explain any of this. And all of that, in comparison to how Pink Panda has gone about it, how beautiful this website is, how much the white paper looks great, all of these things, even if we go to the white paper, we can see that it's just so much more well put together in terms of, just visuality and optics. So with that, I would say that this is a pretty clear win for Pink Panda. I would say that's probably like the least close ranking that we have so far. And I think it can be fixed. Don't get it wrong. I think Fusion can definitely work on that and fix that in good time, but I would for sure give that one to Pink Panda. I would for sure give that one to Pink Panda. So security is another interesting one. Let's go ahead. Let's pull this up. So one thing I'm pretty set with this one is that I'm a big fan of the security things in which Pink Panda has already established, right? I love the fact that they are so visual in terms of their donations. They show the donations they're making. Adam is very open. He's very transparent. We know who he is. We know all of this information. We did see the audits right here. And just in terms of, the holders, there's no major whales. There's nothing, in my opinion, that I would be like, ooh, I'm very worried about that. But I think that the overall presentation of information, the fact that we understand all of the things going on behind it, and that there's no kind of confusion in terms of, what's going on behind the scenes, I think all of that definitely does add a fact. Now, one thing that I will say with Fusion is that they've done a good job too in terms of getting, like, say, Tesla Safe. If we do go back out here, we can see here that they also do have that audit, and I would say that their team is very open and honest. The contract looks fine and things like that. But I would say just in terms of security, I would say that Pink Panda has been so transparent and so open visual in the public. And personally speaking, I do like being able to see the developers being doxxed. That's just my personal preference. It's not a necessity, but it's my personal preference. And I think that right there alone gives Pink Panda a bit of the edge on this one. So let's go ahead And let's go ahead and let's add that one in. So next up is going to be Pink Panda. We got to give that a quick little copy. And then we're going to go ahead and paste this thing on down here. Boom, boom. There we go. Okay. Here it goes again. It literally comes down to this almost every single time. Okay. So utility is an interesting one, right? And I know I say they're all interesting because it's all interesting to me, at least. Realistically speaking, in terms of speculation, right? In terms of speculation, I think that one of the most clear advantages that Fusion has against all of the other cryptos that we see is their utility. Okay. In terms of speculation and speculating that all of this is going to happen, they have loads of it. I mean, having a decentralized exchange for all coins in the ecosystem, Rice will function as the exchange token and will also support staking and yield farming. Coming out with the stablecoin pegged to the US dollar within the next few weeks / months here. You know, having all of these other things in terms of launch pads and lending platforms and things I have no reason to believe that they won't accomplish because they've already accomplished so much. In comparison to what Pink Panda is doing, which charity is absolutely fantastic, and then also coming out with their decentralized exchange, I would say that there is a bit of a clear differential there in terms of utility. And so with that being said, I actually am going to have to go ahead and give this one to Fusion Chain. And so that means that they are going to be the ones who do progress up into the semifinals. And now I'm so sorry, Panda Josh, I know, but you know, guys, it's all honesty. And one thing I love, you know, going forward, one thing I absolutely love about the chat from what I'm seeing, no one's talking bad mouthing each other, no one's talking badly about other cryptos, no one's in here arguing. And I seen someone talking about this in the chat just now, and it's true. I absolutely love the fact that everyone just understands that they have communities and there's cryptos that they support, and they appreciate and respect the fact that other people are in here respecting their communities. And I love that. Like Pink Panda, they're still going to be nice. I know just because they did lose out in this round that they're not going to be in here all mad and raging and everything like that, because they do have such a fantastic community. And so with that, I do want to say a major shout out to the Pink Panda community. I absolutely love you guys. I'm so excited. I'm for sure bringing y'all back on next season. No doubt in my mind. I absolutely love the community you've built. I'm still going to be engaging. I'm still going to be interacting, and I can't wait to see where you go in the future. Adam, if you are watching this, I appreciate how honest you are. I appreciate how open you are with your community and how well, you know, you're establishing yourselves as something that truly has potential. And I truly love the fact of the mission and the goals in which you have in terms of, you know, the vision. Like, let's take this thing, let's change the world, let's donate to charity, let's do this. Angry Panda, the approach you have on trying to better blockchain and all of that. I appreciate all of it. And so with that, I'm sorry that it does come down like this, but you guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so excited to see the future. And with that, I will see you guys very, very soon. So let's go ahead. Let's go back on some of this. And there we go. One more. There we go. And yeah, so let's jump into the next one. So we have, if we go into our finale, we can see that that does take Fusion Chain. Boom. Into number 2. Now, Pink Panda was one of the very first ones on the series. They were one of the very first ones in the series. Sad to see it happen, but I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal. And I know they're just only going to go forward and do fantastic things. So big shout out to you. Look at that. Look at that. I absolutely love this. Look at the chat real quick. Hold on. We're going to look at the chat. Look how phenomenal. I love this. I love this finale. I was nervous because, like, man, I hope people aren't like in here and going to be arguing and saying one crypto is better than another and all this thing. Look at this. Pink Panda all day, Fusion ecosystem for life. Everyone just supporting. Fusion Chain is very legit. A close contest. Congrats to Pink Panda community for getting here. I support you all. Look at that. Panda, hats off to Fusion. Tyler must not have had a good night's sleep. Pink Panda is my choice, though. Gonna check out Fusion. I love that. I absolutely love that. Shout out to Raymond Lenders for the $69 donation. Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Look at this. Look, I love that. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Absolutely beautiful. That's the type of energy we like. That's the energy that's welcome here. Okay, this is it. This is it, guys. This is it. The semifinals. I'm so excited about this. Gorilla Diamond versus Fusion Chain. Also, has anyone ever seen any other YouTuber do something like this? Let me know in the chat. Are we the only ones who's done something like this? Like, am I the first one? That'd be interesting. But this is it, guys. And gals, Gorilla Diamond versus Fusion Chain might be one of the most interesting matchups we've seen because they're very, very similar. They're super duper similar, and you guys will start to notice that, especially as we do go forward with this one. And so, yeah, someone said now time to organize the Monopoly match. Michael, you don't want that work. I'm the GOAT at Monopoly. This is it. I'm so happy. I'm so sad one has to lose. I'm so sad that one has to lose. And then the winner has to go against Meta Hero. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So let's talk about longevity. Okay. This one is actually interesting because there's a few things that go into this one. So I'm not going to talk about all of the things, going forward about, longevity, because the good thing is we've already kind of talked about this before, right? We've talked about longevity, creativity, everything like that. So we'll be able to go through these a little bit quicker. One thing I love about both of these is the vision. Okay, so what I think is the biggest implementation of longevity for the Gorilla Diamond group is the fact that they have, one, established this thing as a corporation. I think that alone kind of gives them some type of unreversible ability to maintain through the waters because they're a corporation, right? So realistically, say if crypto starts to get regulated and they're not able to, like, say something happens with crypto and no one's able to buy crypto anymore. The fact that they're a corporation, I do believe that they'll still be around even after that, considering some of the different aspects that they have, such as peer-to-peer service markets. And I know it revolves around crypto, but you kind of get the idea. And so I think that puts them on this level that kind of stays away from some of the murky waters. Okay. Now, one thing I love about Tesla Safe is the vision and how they want to go forward and do all of these things in terms of, okay, how are we going to, make this an ecosystem, make this the Amazon of crypto. Okay. And so there's definitely those things. Now, personally speaking, in terms of longevity, I think I would have to give this one, surprisingly to some, to Gorilla Diamond. Now, the reason that I say that is because what Fusion Chain is trying to pull off is going to have many, many, many barriers, many obstacles, and many things to pull off. Okay. And now when I say that, I mean that in the sense that there is so much that has to go into this, and there's going to be barriers. There's going to be things that may make it quite difficult, and they still have a lot of proving to do, right? The only thing that, kind of worries me with Fusion is the fact that they have been around since April or like May-ish roughly, and there wasn't a white paper made, right? For Fusion itself. There wasn't kind of that explanation of how all it kind of goes. And I'm a little bit remotely worried in terms of longevity. Like, they've made great progress, but there are certain things, that fundamentals that they needed to establish much early on to allow that future growth, that I think Gorilla Diamond has done a fantastic job of doing, such as establishing a corporation, the AMAs, just all of those things. I think is big, especially the fact that they're now starting to launch some of their products, such as, rising tokens and things like that. So personally speaking, just my opinion, based off fundamental establishment, goes to longevity. I think that I would give that to Gorilla Diamond. That was a close one because I think that Fusion does more, right? I think that they do more in terms of the things that Gorilla Diamond does. What Gorilla Diamond does, Fusion is going to do eventually, but more. But I think that in terms of longevity, you have to be focused on your fundamentals. You have to be focused on the foundation and not all the pretty stuff. And that's something that Gorilla Diamond has done, but Fusion Chain seemingly has slowed, not made the quickest pace on. That's just my personal opinion. That one was close. It was almost a tie. But I think that one's justifiable. So let's go ahead. Let's go. Boom. Step number 1, paste duplicate. Bang. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay. Creativity. It is going to be very, very, very difficult for any of these cryptos to beat Fusion in creativity. I kind of went over creativity already. And so with that, I don't even feel like I need to go over it again, just why they're so creative. I think that's a pretty clear win for Fusion Chain, for sure. Yeah, I think that's going to be a hard argument to make that Fusion Chain isn't one of the most creative cryptos we've seen. Okay. Oh, progress. It sucks though, in terms of Fusion, because this wouldn't even really be an argument if it wasn't for the lacking of the website, the lacking of the white paper, the lacking of an explanation of how it would all work in the past, especially having the first coin release 3 months ago. That's the staple issue with Fusion for this entire thing. Now, it sucks because they haven't had as much time to fix certain things up to this point, like maybe say Gorilla Diamond has or Pink Panda did. But in terms of progress, Fusion's made great progress outside of the white paper, the website, the explanation. So those are very important, but they have done so well with Rice, with Tesla Safe, with getting Paz out very soon, with getting, the branding out and getting the name out and growing it. And so, there's that. So there's that side. And then we think of Gorilla Diamond. They've done a great job of getting out Rising Token, which is out now, I believe. Someone just said in the chat. As well as getting the revamped website out and all of those things. But I think in terms of progress, from a technical perspective, Fusion has probably done more with getting multiple coins out with multiple uses. But I think in terms of like a presentation, a progress, showing what they're doing, getting the corporation established, I think that Gorilla Diamond has done just as much work. And so with that, I'm going to go tie. I'm going to go with tie on this one. The only thing that would have changed this either way is that if Gorilla Diamond would have made a little bit more progress in terms of, getting more projects out, such as, the swap and things like that, because swaps don't take very long to get out. And so if they would have been able to get that out, I think that would have gave them the edge. Or if Fusion would have been able to have their website ready, have a white paper that was real, their official white paper out, have that explanation of how it works and breakdowns of tokenomics and all of that, had they done that, it would have gave them the edge. And so that being said, that goes, that's kind of like the tie. Like that's the cause of the tie there. Okay. So presentation. I think again, this is a pretty clear one, okay? Because presentation is so important, right? It's so important. You got to present the info, right? And it kind of personally feels like with me, and I don't want to say like I was the one who did it, but until it started to kind of get said or called out that white paper was not released. And as you can see, the white paper on the website for Fusion is the staple issue. Like that's the staple problem that causes issues with all of these. Okay. And so with that being said, I just wish that all would have been ready to go, because that's like the first thing you need to do. Like that's realistically the first thing that needs to be ready, set to go. And I wish they would have, because this would have definitely changed the game a lot. Okay. But what I'm noticing in terms of presentation is that it's a clear pull for Gorilla Diamond. It's a clear pull. They have the website ready. They got the white paper ready. They have all the information clearly presented in organized fashions. Their roadmap is very in-depth. And Fusion's is too, don't get me wrong. But just in terms of how they're going about it and explanations, I do like that. And so I think presentation is another one that we're gonna slide to Gorilla Diamond. There we go. And there we go. So let's see. So security. Okay. Gorilla Diamond is a crypto that has, again, like we said, done so much in terms of establishing their credibility and their security. It's very hard to beat a crypto that has established a federal corporation that is under legal regulation and can't do certain things. To beat that by another crypto that aren't under those same regulatory, inactions, right? And so that plus the audit. So, they're both audited, which is good. So that kind of evens them out. Gorilla Diamond has been around for a while. So they've proven that they're actually going to do the things. Security also comes down to credibility. Like, have you actually built the projects you say you're going to do? They have. So has Fusion. So those kind of even each other out. The difference that I would say a bit is like maybe necessarily the fact that I would say Fusion has a very, very clear team in terms of like Brandon and Adam and like their moderators, their admins and some of those other people. But the people really behind it is a bit unsure. And now I know their reasoning is that, they don't want there to be a central point of attack or, their owner, CEO to have something happen to them or have a bad image and it hurts the crypto itself. So they think anonymity or being anonymous, basically, I don't know the actual word, but being anonymous is important. Okay. That's their opinion. But I think that does somewhat hurt security, right? But in terms of, do we trust the people who could do something malicious or who are behind the scenes? And I think that specifically is something that Gorilla Diamond has done as well. And so it's kind of hard because I know Fusion has a few audits on a few of the different cryptos. And then as someone does point out here, Raymond says Gorilla Diamond has one audit. And so it's kind of hard to go. And so I think it does come down to the fact that Gorilla Diamond has established themselves as a federal corporation. In terms of security, that definitely helps them out because they can't do certain things, as well as the fact that they're on the public eye, their public image. And so with that, to some people's surprise, I know some people are actually surprised about that. That number 2, that's gonna be the third one that goes to Gorilla Diamond. So it's virtually impossible at this point for Fusion Chain to win this one. But I will say it's clear as day in terms of utility. I will still give this one the ranking. We can see here that I would 1,000,000% give Fusion Chain. What they're not really gonna lose in my opinion, right now, anonymity. That's the word, but utility and creativity. That's a very hard one to beat on them. What would have made the difference for Fusion Chain to have made it into the top is making more progress in terms of going forward, getting their websites done, getting that white paper official. Those things don't take 3 months to do. And that made a load of the difference in terms of presentation as well as progress. And I think had they done that, this could be a whole different story. But we're going off what we have right now. And at the moment, there's that. But what makes this series interesting, that means that Fusion Chain is now ranked 3rd. They are number 3. So what that means is that next season, they are back. They're coming back. The top 3 are going to be back. Again, Meta Heroes, number 1. They obviously are going to be 1st or 2nd. Number 2, either whoever wins between Gorilla Diamond and Meta Hero. And number 3, Fusion. If Fusion makes these changes, if they make these adaptations, and someone did say, look, Meta Hero, oh wait, they're talking about Meta Hero, but if they make these changes, if they add these things that need to be added and build these fundamentals, this could look real different. This could look really, really different on how the rankings play out, and I am so excited to see what happens going forward with these different cryptos. We're re-ranking them. So whenever we start the series back up, the 3 that made it this season, we're getting a whole new ranking. So whatever changes and progress they made will be applied to the ranking. And who knows what happens with Fusion. I'm very excited to see what happens. Let's go forward. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's do this one. And then Gorilla Diamond faces off against the current reigning and defending number 1 contender, the boy. Let's go ahead and let's get this Gorilla Diamond text pulled up. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. That puts him into the finals against Meta Hero, which is an absolute tank. Okay, so let's see. Who is ready for this? Is it? This is the end of the season right here, right now, coming forward. Let's pull up the chat and let's see what everybody's up to. Let's see. After this battle, we should all chat about the future. Come by the Gorilla Diamond Discord and let's chat. Absolutely. Fusion is huge project with crazy roadmap. Absolutely. What y'all think about, okay, that's something else. Meta Hero is going to make any My Player mode the best thing ever. It's crazy. End of the World says smash the like button, boys and girls. Meta Hero says 100. M content. I'm investing in them all. Oh my goodness, that's a weird approach to take. But hey, compare the price charts. No context. Fusion has better tokenomics. Eventually Fusion will catch up. Hey, we'll have to take a look. We'll have to look and see how it does. Meta Hero is younger than these projects and has already surpassed them all. Let's go. Tyler disagree. Look at Gorilla's price chart. I don't focus on the price too much right now. I think that focusing on the price in a turn, in times where we're seeing so much consolidation, I don't think that's the best thing. Fusion has 2 audits, starting by searching next. That definitely will help with security as well. Yep. Okay. This is it. This is it, people. This is it. Who's excited? Who's ready? If you are ready, smash that like button. We're at 50 likes. We need this thing 1,000,000% to be at 50 likes by the time we get into this next one. This is it. This is it. I'm so excited to see. So, again, Gorilla Diamond will now face off against our number 1 contender, Meta Hero, which had a 92.5% rating. 92.5% ranking. Shout out to Fusion Chain. Before we even get into that, major shout out to you. Major shout out to how fast you're working in terms of getting these multiple coins released. Shout out to you for the community you're building. Brandon, Adam. Again, Adam, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like I did. But things like that. For having such a good comeback I looked at Fusion and said, I literally said on stream, I don't know about this. I probably won't like it, and moved on. And then after getting messages, I went and looked back at it. I was like, maybe it's something interesting. Maybe it's something interesting. And next thing you know, after talking to Adam, I kind of put him on the spot in front of everyone. But after talking to Adam, after talking to Brandon, they come back and win third place. That is something very, very, very strong to be proud of. And big, big, big congratulations to Fusion Chain for doing so much and such a phenomenal job. Okay. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. Whew. I'm a little sweaty, not gonna lie. You can't see my pit stains through my party shirt, but okay. Let's see. So we are in the end. We are here to figure out who it is. Longevity. The very first one that we're looking at, again, is longevity. Okay. Let's get these pulled up. What we're seeing from both of these cryptos is something interesting in the sense of what they're trying to do, because they're actually different in a way. Gorilla Diamond, we've said it 3 times already, so we're not going to go into it again, but why that shirt is something to be strong to be proud of. Shout out to you. What they're approaching, okay, and what they're trying to do. Gorilla Diamond is trying to better the crypto world itself by providing them with certain tools, such as rising tokens, which is going to kind of highlight some of these newer tokens that are based off popularity, price tracking, etc. Swiftly Swap, which allows you to swap tokens securely without an exchange, and also the Diamond Wallet, like we've talked about before, that just makes things much more easy. Now, they're also targeting things outside the crypto world, outside the, just to buy a token and try to make money in the peer-to-peer service market. And I think that this is massive, massive, because I've said it time and time again on probably at least 20 of these 30 episodes. I've said that I truly 100% believe that cryptocurrencies will either find a better version of or replace every single aspect of modern day society. Now, that is a big statement. That's a big statement, but I think it just makes more sense. Now, there's regulations dependent on that. Then we'll see the future of it. But I think that the potential is here. And I think the peer-to-peer service exchange category is something that fits in so well within crypto that the longevity in which they have, mixed in with the fact that they have established themselves as a corporation, gives them a lot of longevity. That is probably one of the strongest aspects of Gorilla Diamond. Also, there's incentive for their platforms to do well because the holders that hold Gorilla Diamond receive reflections from each transaction off of the service market or the wallet or the Swiftly Swap or Rising tokens, as well as you can use these different things such as the peer-to-peer service market without even wanting to invest in Gorilla Diamond. So it gives you double longevity in a way. But let's talk about MetaHero, okay? Because, dude. So what they're going to be trying to do is focusing on basically 3D scanning people in, and then taking that scan and bringing them and allowing them to basically be within this virtual world, this virtual game, which is, it's so hard to wrap your mind around, but they are in the process of doing it. They have Robert Gurn, GRANDE, I'm not 100% sure, but who is going to be running behind it with loads of experience within the business space, okay? And so that also provides credibility as well as longevity, okay? End of the world just says MetaHero. CerTic audit and now be releasing Hero Swap. MetaHero entire point is to bring non-crypto people into crypto. And so that's a part of the incentivization, right? As well as the fact that, though, one thing I will say is that the main focus of MetaHero is going to be within this virtual space, okay? And I'm not 100% sure that everyone within the crypto space is going to be able to do that, as well as the fact that being able to get scanned, I believe they said it was $200 if my head wraps around it right, okay? But there's another aspect of longevity for MetaHero because they also, like we saw with Gorilla Diamond, have, let's see, hold on. I want to set up a legal entity. So they've set it up as a legal entity as well, which provides it with some of that longevity as well, okay? So with that, I think that they're both trying to do something different. They're more kind of focused on bringing non-crypto investors into the crypto space and focusing more on this virtual world, as well as Gorilla Diamond is focusing on, okay, how can we use our resources to provide many reasons for our investors to hold, as well as how can we benefit the cryptosphere in general. So personally speaking, I'm giving this one a tie as well. Because like I said, longevity is a hard one to beat for Gorilla Diamond because they have done such a great job of building their fundamentals, with which comes with increased longevity. Okay, so let's talk about creativity. This one is it's hard to beat Meta Hero in terms of creativity with what they're trying to do. And it's not even just speculation at this point. It is simply, this is what we want to do and this is what we're going to do, okay? If we go over to the website, we can see here that they have already gone into hero app development, whitelist and all that good stuff, their AMAs, their awareness marketings, but they've already done things such as, here we go, building the V3 scanner, which is already coming now. And there was one thing specific, verify meta scanner locations. So we can see here that they're already in the progress of taking these steps. And so it's not just so wildly creative that it's unrealistic. No, they're actually trying to do it. And the technology that they're using has provingly already worked for games such as Cyberpunk. So personally speaking, in terms of creativity, I think it makes a lot of sense for that one to go over to Meta Hero. There we go. Hold on. One of these. There we go. Bang, bang, boom. Okay. So that's the first one. Progress. Progress is one that the proof is in the pudding here. Okay. Now, I must say, Gorilla Diamond has done fantastic in terms of progress. Establishing fundamentals, getting these AMAs going, getting their team docs, building their ambassadors, their ambassador group, you know what I'm saying? Doing all of these great things, getting Ryzen tokens out. You know, we can already see that they've made great steps, especially in terms of initializing protocols, such as getting on CoinTarget, focus heavily on advertising and marketing campaigns, listing on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. But other than that, in terms of, you know, the projects and the products in which they're releasing, I would say that in the time in which they've been out, that Meta Hero has done a lot more. Just personally speaking, especially getting Certic audited and getting the app developed and, you know, getting the legal entity and having all of this funding already, a 5-year plan in vision, expanding the core team, having their own YouTube channel, which they are doing. Like, they've done a lot. Okay, like a lot, especially post-launch marketing campaigns. Public launch, they only launched just like a few weeks ago, okay? And so I would for sure again say that in terms of progress relative to the time in which they have been around, that is another one that we would go ahead and give over to Meta Hero. Okay, presentation. Presentation is, again, there's a few things. There's a few things that go into presentation. Visuality, how does it look? How are you presenting it? And are you presenting the information in a clear manner? Now with that, one thing that I think that Gorilla Diamond has done well is building up their presentation, again, to show exactly what their goals are, right? They're showing, look, this is our goals. This is what we want to do. It's important that, you know, people understand that our transaction reflections are going to be what really gets them reflections and all of that good stuff. But I think that in terms of in-depth and how in-depth they go, if we just go over to their white paper, I mean, we can see on Meta Hero itself here. We go ahead and I'm going to let this pull up. Here we go. We can see that they have gone very, very in-depth on exactly how they plan on doing every single aspect of it, which I think gives them a bit of the edge over Gorilla Diamond, just personally speaking, because I think that, you know, it could be a little bit more in depth about some of the steps in which they're taking, kind of how we see here. Now, the difference is that they have more technology. They have things that people would get confused about if they were unsure what all this information was, but they've done a fantastic job as well. Is, you know, with their website, the visuals amazing, absolutely beautiful, and all of that things. And so with that, I would say that this is another one that I would give to Meta Hero. Let's go ahead here. Boom, boom, boom. So we're looking at 3. We're looking at 3 right now. And so what that means is that it's impossible for Gorilla Diamond to win, which makes Meta Hero the winner. But what I will say is that in terms of security, I also gave that one to Meta Hero. That's just kind of my personal opinion. Should be good. All right, we're good. Okay, cool. All right, my bad. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does it, but I'm so fast at catching it now. But one thing that I wanted to say, okay, yeah, the stream's all good. Okay, cool. So one thing I was saying is that with what Meta Hero has going on in terms, or what Gorilla Diamond has in terms of security, that I I would say, like, how do you explain this? What's the best way? Like the legal entity, the corporation, the audits, the being so obvious, like who they are, Ahmad, Mason, Robert, and Ben. I'd say MetaHero also has that in terms of their owner being so famous and everyone. I mean, there's a lot of people who just know who he is. He's basically a celebrity. Also having a CerTic audit and mixing all of that together, I think that big audit, that big CerTic audit, gives it a little bit of an edge to MetaHero as well. But one thing that I did give, let's see, I want to, boom, paste duplicate. But now utility was the most interesting one to think about for all of these, okay? And the reason I say that is because I think Gorilla Diamond's idea, it ties into longevity well. So basically what I talked about and the fact that Gorilla Diamond is taking the incentive to take their platform and to do so many things, especially with the peer-to-peer service market, I think that's huge, as well as building up and establishing, you know, stronger aspects of the crypto world in general. I think that gives them a strong reason to stay around and have a strong use case, as well as all of the ones we've talked about with MetaHero. And so I will actually give, this is one that I knew going into this that was going to happen, but I actually wanted to give this one utility as a tie to Gorilla Diamond 2. And so it wasn't necessarily close, but I think that MetaHero has had a lot more time as a business. Robert Gurn has a lot more business experience. He's done a lot more of this. He has a lot more connections, and he has a lot more money himself. And so I think that has allowed them to make more progress. But we got to give a massive, massive, massive kudos to Gorilla Diamond for what they have accomplished this season. I mean, what they have accomplished just in the last few weeks, in the last few months, just some guys who, yeah, they have some experience, but in comparison to, like, say, Robert Gurn, like, they were at a big disadvantage, right? A big disadvantage. And the fact that they've done what they have done in the short amount of time in which they have done it in with just limited capital in terms of, you know, not having $10 million seeded into the company, absolutely amazing. And I'm big, big, big fan. I'm a huge fan of what Gorilla Diamond is doing. So Gorilla Diamond was on the channel, and I fell in love with their product so much, I'm an ambassador for Gorilla Diamond, okay? And so it does go to show, like, I truly do believe in what they have going on, but we have to give it up for MetaHero. I mean, MetaHero is a beast. I mean, it is an absolute giant. It is probably, in my opinion, the best crypto I've seen get launched within the last month that has some of the most potential that I've seen and making some of the most progress I've seen. They're amongst the number one, number two. There's a few other cryptos that I'm a big fan of that I think are doing similar things that have made similar progress. But from what we have seen, I mean, MetaHero has absolutely killed it. I mean, they've absolutely killed it. They've absolutely crushed it. And so that means that our winner for Season 1 give it up. Give it up for MetaHero. Absolutely phenomenal. That's so crazy because I ignored them for a while. I ignored MetaHero. And the end of the world was in here talking about MetaHero for days. I was just ignoring it. They came in within the last few weeks, and then next thing you know, they come in and completely win the tournament. Shout out to them. End of the world was a person who says it. There we go. We back. All right, cool. I don't know why my stream's doing that, but I'm glad it's happening towards the end. So guys, major shout out to MetaHero. I just want to give a big shout out to all of the contenders: MetaHero, Peacock Coin, Gorilla Diamond, Pink Panda, and of course Fusion Chain. Shout out to all of you who made it this far. Shout out to all of you who went through a lot of the things that I said, because all of those cryptos I said something negative about. I said I didn't like this, I didn't like that, and a lot of you did make the necessary changes to, you know, and just increase the overall immersiveness of the website or presentation of information and all of that. You've done a phenomenal job, and I could not be more proud of being able to watch all these crypto grows and playing my small, very irrelevant part with Okay, I'm going to get through this as fast as I possibly can. I'm having connection problems and it keeps going in and out. So this is going to be it, guys. That's it for the season. I do appreciate every single person who has been in here, who has been going forward, who has been helping me develop the series. We are going to be back with this one in 2 weeks for season 2. So stay tuned. I will see you all very, very soon. I hope you guys do enjoy this. I hope you love the season. It's been 30 episodes. We're going to do it just like I said in the beginning. Every 30 episodes, we are going to be going through new cryptos. And I hope you guys are excited. Crypto Dream is in the chat. Crypto Dream, I don't know what you got against the season, but if you don't like it, you don't got to be here. But with that being said, guys, I'll be back soon. I'm going to kind of miss live streaming. I'm going to miss talking to you guys. But of course, we do got to give it time. We got to give time for new cryptos to come out. And I hope you guys are excited for season 2. There's a whole bunch that's going into that one. There's a lot of changes I'm making. There's different ways I'm approaching it. And I think that it's going to be even better than the first season. So if you did enjoy this, again, you can let me know by smashing that like button. Shout out to all of the cryptos who made it this far and other communities who helped get them to this point. And I will see you all very, very soon. Peace.